Good morning, everybody. This is basically like a part two of the Donald Trump assassination attempt. Uh, the whole thing about this whole situation, I could never think that there might be a conspiracy involved in this. I never want to think that somebody had something evil in the back of their mind. But this here is really, really starting to make me think, and it should make everybody else think. Somebody's covering something up here. I'm not a rocket scientist, okay, but I can tell you one thing right now. With the trial that I listened to for 5 hours, she answered nothing, okay, the director. Okay, I even told my fiance the day before, because the director said she wasn't going to resign. Well, I told my fiance, I said, there's something going on. Somebody is involved in this thing. Somehow, somewhere, covering something up. I said, I can guarantee you, she's going to come out and not answer nobody's questions. And somebody was in contact with her to say not to answer anything. And then I did tell my fiance, what's going to happen is she's going to get a lot of questions and a lot of heat and a lot of, the media and everything, and being on television is going to be a lot of heat on her. So after the meeting was over, okay, the following day, she resigned. Well, I was right on that one too, because I told my fiance that the people that are involved in this thing, whether it's the FBI, which I do think they're involved in too, and we're involved in the investigation, but I would never have them do it. I would have an outside investigation actually done by professional investigators on the outside. Because I don't trust the FBI, because if you remember, there was hearings here in the past that they tried to get a tape recording of Biden a conversation in the hearing, and they were subpoenaed and they never gave forward the recording. So on this standpoint, there's a lot of other things that we didn't get answers to. Okay, now I want to explain something to everybody here. I've been around guns, all kind of guns. I mean, the bows, rifles. I have a 270. I have 6.5 Creedmoor, which is not exactly the same as an AR-15, but it shoots just as flat or even flatter. Okay, now I want you to think of this. Guns are more sophisticated than they were years ago. The optics on them are more sophisticated. They shoot more accurate, okay? Now, I want you to think of the perimeter that they stated. Okay, the most popular gun used in the United States is an AR-15. Well, do you realize they're accurate out to 600 yards? So everybody's wondering, well, wow, why didn't they extend the perimeter outside of that? Well, that's something we never got an answer to anyway. But the thing about it is, it does not have to be somebody superior to shoot 150 yards with the rifle that they had, which were the .223 caliber. And my grandson is 14 years old. Now listen to this. I have a 6.5 Creedmoor that I have sighted on with a good scope on it, and I took it out and sighted in, and they had silhouettes more than about 600 or 6 inches round, about the size of someone's head, at 200 and 300 yards. So I set him up on a bench, followed the regulations at the range, of course. At 200 yards, 10 out of 10 shots he hit. Now think about that. A 14-year-old kid that hardly ever, now he does go hunting and stuff, but he doesn't have very much experience shooting a rifle. So that just tells you something here. for somebody that's in the FBI involved in this investigation with this Secret Service, somebody really dropped the ball in this thing. And I do really think in that command center that day, whoever was given instructions and follow-up in the communication thing, somebody had something evil in their mind, just enough to get not the communications, that it's enough for crooks to try to assassinate Donald Trump. And the sad part about it is we had a fireman killed, and then we had others injured. So there's so many things that, to me, there's something else going on. Not only that, if a person's suspicious, okay, and like I said, I've been around guns and stuff all my life, and he had a backpack and he was considered suspicious. When he had the rangefinder, why wasn't he considered a threat? Why in the heck would you have a rangefinder at an event where you're going to have the ex-president of the United States? Okay? It's not a golf course, or he's not out hunting. So, on that standpoint, something totally went wrong and evil on this part of it. The other thing is, normally, as we know, there's body cams and all that stuff. And normally, if they had a command center, I'm sure there's recordings of everything that was going on. Now, do I think we're going to hear the truth? I don't think we will. I don't think we'll ever get down to really what the truth was. The other thing I told my fiance is this. Okay, in 9 days, she didn't have any information. That's what she says, which I'm sure she did. And we all know she did, the director. So somebody told her to shut up and not answer anything. So she was the fall woman at the time to get the pressure off the FBI investigation. So if they saying that they'll have everything in 60 days, now just follow me here. Okay, and she just resigned. So that takes the pressure off a little bit. So now we got Trump going around debates, and we got Harris. So as time goes on, this thing's going to kind of like set aside and be kind of like not remembered as much. So the pressure is going to be off the FBI, and they have enough time to be able to come up with some cockamamie story that the United States people are going to believe. So I know that sounds evil, but I would bet there was somebody involved in this, and there should be many people lose their jobs. But that's not going to happen, because if there's somebody else that is high up in the organization was involved, and there was someone else down the chain of command in that command center that was involved, they're going to cover it up. Because the main reason is it's going to make them look even worse. And they could have a tendency to go to jail. So what they're going to do is they're going to come up with some kind of a story that sounds believable. And there might be another person that may take a fall from this. But I don't think you're going to find the other people that are actually involved that should be actually put to jail, because they're too high up in the chain of command. So just think of this. Everybody says, well, conspiracy, wow. How could that come in your mind to think that we would have somebody in the FBI or the Secret Service for conspiracy? Okay, let's look at it this way. Crooks. If you really looked at a lot of different kids and stuff, they had interviews with different kids. Now, the one kid said that he was bullied, but that was not true. So many other kids said that he was like any other normal kid, okay? And they would never thought that he would do such a thing. Okay, now why, if you're going to turn it around the other way, why would you not think there could be a possibility that somebody in the FBI or Secret Service kind of did something just enough to look crooks through and take that shot? Now, I'm not a freaking rocket scientist, but I'm not stupid either, and neither are the United States people. So the Secret Service and the FBI, what needs to be done, which probably they're saying that they're going to have their own investigation. The Congress and Senate said that. But there again is, how is that going to be tied in, or can they be even believable? I would have had a private investigation for outside the resource, outside of the government to investigate, because I'm telling you right now, if there was stuff that are involved, and they probably had recordings in that command center, anything can be justified, anything can be adjusted. They're going to come up with some kind of a story that they're not going to look as bad, and it's going to be a cover-up. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a cover-up. And we'll really never know the real true answer. They're going to come up with some cockamamie story, just enough to give us information that it's believable, and then it'll be forgotten, not remembered anymore. So, on that standpoint, I just want to leave everybody thought process that if you think you're going to get all the correct answers, you're not. I don't trust the FBI. I don't trust the Secret Service, and it's getting to the point where I don't trust our government either. It's to the point where it's taking trust away from people, and I'm 62 years old. So what I've said, really think about this. Really think hard. Because it doesn't take a rocket scientist for somebody to come out and plan this thing, who the planner was. In history books, it even tells you to take the high ground, okay? In Gettysburg, we won Gettysburg, okay? The North, which would be the Yankees, took the high ground. It's not rocket science. So somebody left it go. Somebody left something happen. Whether everybody wants to believe that or not, you need to think really hard. Think to say, well, who would nobody would do something like that in our FBI or Secret Service. Well, who would think the crooks would have did the same thing? People knew him too, and they never thought he would do the same thing. Don't you think the same thing could be the thought process that somebody, all they needed to do was a little bit of something evil that was not knowing, and actually that it can look like a mistake, but it wasn't a mistake. So on that standpoint, and to give you all that to think about, hopefully we hear something back. But like I said, I did all this looking on YouTube and investigating a lot of this myself, and it's just too many open areas. And it ain't no wonder that people are starting to think that this is a conspiracy, okay? Because you have anybody shot. In most cases, when a private investigator or investigating a crime, you normally hear something from the state police or from them before the 9 days, at least some kind of answers, okay? And then they come out and they'll say, we'll go give you a follow-up and more of the answers because there's still the investigation's going on, okay? But we got nothing. So right there should be alarm to everybody that something's going on, and it's not a good situation. So I love the USA, I love our veterans, and just giving you something to think about. I mean, I've been through many different Kennedy era when he was assassinated, and the other Kennedys were assassinated, and I was too young to be able to actually look at it and investigate it with other, like, Navy SEALs, or why on YouTube wasn't available for some of the videos. Now, I know some of the stuff can be, not true, but a lot of the stuff that I looked at was with private investigators, and some of the investigators, what they said, and also snipers. So, and the snipers said the same thing. There should have been somebody on that roof, no matter what, because when they go to look at it, they look for anything that's a high ground. The other thing to think about is, why in the hell didn't they have up on the water tower? If we really would have had somebody there that was sniper capability, and then another sniper beside two of them, we'd been in trouble. we would have had assassination and more people killed. Then the other scenario is this. Nothing against women, nothing against color or race or anything. Okay, but we need our best of the best out there protecting the president, ex-presidents, and everything. I just want you to think about this. Supposedly, when they go through training, women have a different training than a man does, and they want to hire more women. Okay, my firm belief is this: there is certain things a woman can do better than a man, and certain things a man can do better than a woman. Okay, it's just a simple fact, because men has testosterone, women has estrogen. Okay, not that they say that they can't do almost everything a man can do, but when it comes to protection and stuff, do you really think that there was another sniper there? Okay, because there was 2-3 women there that I seen on videos. If there was 2 snipers and they took out them men, do you really think that they could have carried Donald Trump off that stage? If you took a look at the videos and seen what they look like, do you honestly think that they could carry Donald Trump off the stage? Plus, they were 5'2". He's 6'3" or 6'4", maybe taller, and they couldn't cover him up anyway. So the training that's going on is not the way it should be trained. It should be trained. Everybody goes through the same training, whether a man or woman, because you got to have the elite of the elite. And the only way you're going to have the elite of the elite is everybody go through the same training, whether a man or a woman, because it's a totally different ballgame when you're protecting someone's life. So, and I know there probably might be women listening, and I know in a fact in their hearts, they know there might be a 2% in this world that may be incapable of doing that job. Otherwise, a man should be doing that job. Okay, and I'm sure if it was a woman who wants protection, they always want the man to protect them. It's just common sense, because they know we have the skills necessary, and we will do whatever possible to protect, because it's born in our blood. Men are out to protect their families, protect whatever necessary. So I'm going to leave it at that. I love the United States. I love our veterans. And just remember what I said in this. You're never going to hear the right answers. They're going to give you cockamamie stories that sound good. That's a shame. It is a very much shame on our country, because there's other countries looking at us and that we're weak. And our forefathers right now are probably rolling around in their graves thinking what the hell we are becoming. And if we don't turn this country around soon, and I hope I don't live to see it, there's going to be a civil war in this country that you've never seen. Okay, because you got 2 political parties, main party, you do have a third one, that can't see eye to eye. One wants to make it a dictatorship. One wants to keep the Constitution as it's supposed to be. And controlling gun rights and going into gun rights again is this. There's always going to be evil in this world, no matter what the circumstances are. It's just the way it is. It's the way you got to look to God lots of times. And no matter how many gun restrictions you have, it ain't going to limit nothing. If a person wants to really kill you, they're going to kill you regardless. Look at the shooter. He had stuff to make bombs. He made bombs, detonate, okay? So really, by putting any more gun law, they ain't going to change nothing. It's a mental problem, okay? And you never know when that's going to happen. You never know when somebody's going to go off deep end. And no psychologist or anyone can tell you that a person is completely normal and then they can't snap, because that's a bunch of crap. All that's garbage, because we all know, we've heard how many times in the past where a common person or somebody that you wouldn't think that would do it snaps and commits suicide or shoots someone. So by these laws, are not going to change nothing. An example is, if you remember several years ago, there was a guy that was released from jail, which he had a rap sheet longer than, it was very long. And why they let him out, I don't know why, up in New York. And here he went with his vehicle, got a vehicle, and drove through the parade, and it started running over people, hitting people, killing people. So if you don't believe me, look it up. Several years ago, this did happen. And where would it end? As of right now, if you looked at most commonly used weapon in killings is knives and strangulation, strangling. So there you are. You know, the gun law ain't going to do shit. All it's going to do is hurt the individuals, the common person, okay, at their homes, okay. Should the checks be thorough? Yes. But it shouldn't be limited what gun that you have. Prime example, they take an automatic weapon away, okay? So you can go to the armed forces at 18 years old and carry an automatic weapon, and you can die for your country, but you can't come back home and use your gun for entertainment. That's wrong. It's like I said, it's a mental problem. And these people that keep on saying they have to make stiffer gun laws, that's not going to solve a damn thing. Not at all. It's our planning aptitude on everything. You know, things have to be looked at and people have to do their job. Just like some of these school shootings and stuff. They blame it on the guns and all that stuff. It's not the guns. If you really look into deep enough, security was a problem at the schools, okay? You know, at the Texas one, that one there was a teacher left the door open. Well, common sense would tell you should have an armed security guard in every hallway, every room should have cameras, and he should be monitoring it. Or that guy wouldn't have got into that school and killed many people. It's just common sense. The same thing as if you got criminals in jail and prisons. What do they have? They have guards. They have cameras everywhere. It's security, so they don't get the hell out. Well, you got to basically in schools and everywhere make it sure that somebody can't get in to harm anybody. It's common sense. Where's it apply? You know, come on. Okay, I had to get this off my chest. Everybody, take care and have a wonderful day. I love you all. Bye.